Hello all, welcome to today's session on indicator microorganisms. Myself, Dr. Mabel Mullen, Assistant Professor, St. Mary's College, Thrissur. Indicator microorganisms, as the name suggests, they are used to indicate the portability of a given sample of water. What do you mean by portability? It is whether the given water sample is fit for consumption or not. We know a lot of waterborne diseases are caused by pathogenic bacteria, viruses, protozoa, etc. And most of the waterborne diseases have a fecal-oral route of transmission, whereby the fecal matter from the body of a patient reaches the water, and when another person consumes it without proper treatment, the pathogens enter his body and cause the disease. So if fecal matter is present in the water, it can contain pathogens and it can cause waterborne diseases. Many waterborne diseases are caused by different pathogens, and to check for each of them in a given water sample is not practical. It is costly, require time-consuming procedures and well-trained labor. So instead of that, we go for checking indicator microorganisms. Their relevance comes in this context. Indicator microorganisms are those which are invariably present in our fecal matter because these organisms form a major part of our intestinal microflora, and along with fecal matter they can reach the water, and if they are present in water, it shows fecal matter is there and pathogens also can be present. Hence, we test for indicator microorganisms to indicate fecal contamination of water. So it is understood that they are generally not present in water. They reach there through fecal matter. So what are the characteristics of an ideal indicator organism? It should be one of the intestinal microflora of warm-blooded animals. It should be present in greater numbers than the pathogen. Pathogen may not be released always in fecal matter and in great numbers. Sometimes very few numbers will be present in the water sample we take, but even if we miss the pathogen, we should not be missing the indicator organism. So they should be present in greater numbers than the pathogen. It should be ideally non-pathogenic. It should be detectable by means of easy, rapid, inexpensive methods. It should not multiply in the environment. That is, it should be similar in behavior to the pathogen except for disease-causing ability. Main indicators are coliforms, fecal streptococci, and sulfite-reducing Clostridia. Coliforms. They belong to the family Enterobacteriaceae, bacteria inhabiting our enteric tract, intestinal tract. They are aerobic or facultative anaerobic, gram-negative, non-spore forming, rod-shaped bacteria. They ferment lactose because they have beta-galactosidase enzyme, producing gas and acid within 24 to 48 hours at 35 degrees Celsius. Coliforms include E. coli, Enterobacter, Klebsiella, etc. They are usually discharged in high numbers in feces, and they are useful for determining the quality of potable water. Coliforms can be divided into another group also called fecal coliforms. They are the thermotolerant coliforms which are released from feces of warm-blooded animals. Some coliforms can be from waste, sewage contamination, etc. We call them non-fecal coliforms, but these fecal coliforms come exclusively from the feces of warm-blooded animals. Fecal coliforms can ferment lactose with gas and acid production at 44.5 degrees Celsius within 24 to 48 hours in addition to 35 degrees Celsius. All coliforms ferment at 35 degrees Celsius. Fecal coliforms ferment lactose at 44.5 degrees Celsius also. Common example of fecal coliform is E. coli. E. coli is a coliform and is a fecal coliform. Enterobacter is a coliform but is not a fecal coliform. So, fecal coliforms produce indole from tryptophan, cannot utilize citrate as source of carbon, and produce beta-glucuronidase. These biochemical properties become the basis of some of the water analysis tests we'll be seeing in the next class. E. coli or thermotolerant coliforms are specific indicators of recent fecal pollution from warm-blooded animals. The word recent becomes important because these organisms do not survive for a long time under environmental conditions. So they indicate recent pollution, and because they are thermotolerant fecal coliforms, they indicate fecal pollution. Why they are thermotolerant is because they are coming from the body of warm-blooded animals. So presence of fecal coliforms indicates the presence of fecal matter from warm-blooded animals. However, human and animal sources is not easy to be differentiated. Next group is fecal streptococci. These are gram-positive, non-spore forming cocci. Cocci are round bacteria. Common examples are Streptococcus faecalis, Streptococcus faecium, Streptococcus durans. These are all isolated from humans. Streptococcus bovis, equinus, avium, they are isolated from animal sources. Streptococcus bovis is from cattle, equinus is from horse, avium is from birds. They commonly inhabit intestinal tract of humans and warm-blooded animals. They also indicate recent fecal contamination in water. Fecal streptococci, another indicator of recent fecal contamination. Fecal streptococci were previously designated as enterococci also because they come from the enteric part, intestine. Some of their biochemical properties are they grow at pH 9.6, grow at 10 degree and 45 degrees Celsius, grow in 6.5% NaCl concentration. They can grow or they can show resistance to 60 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. They can reduce 0.1% methylene blue. They grow in presence of 40% bile, sodium acid and potassium telluride concentrations, which normally inhibit other organisms, including coliforms. There is a ratio, fecal coliform to fecal streptococci ratio, Fc by Fs, which can indicate the origin of pollution in surface waters. Ratio higher than 4 indicates human origin contamination. Ratio of 0.7 or similar indicates animal pollution. This is for recent fecal pollution. The third group of indicators are sulfite reducing Clostridia. Common example being Clostridium perfringens. These are opportunistic pathogens, can cause human disease such as gas gangrene. Coming to their properties, they are gram-positive, strictly anaerobic rods which are endospore forming. They produce endospores within their vegetative cells. They are non-motile, can reduce sulfite to hydrogen sulfide. Hence the name sulfite reducing Clostridia. They ferment lactose, sucrose, inositol with the production of gas. They produce a stormy clot fermentation with milk in litmus milk medium. We will be seeing that in water analysis again. They reduce nitrate, hydrolyzed gelatin and produce lecithinase and acid phosphatase. So these are again some of the biochemical properties. Most important thing about them is that they are endospore formers. These spores are resistant to environmental stresses and to disinfection by oxidizing agents such as chlorine, ozone, and UV. So they can make this bacterium difficult to be a good indicator organism, because even if the vegetative cells die off, spores can remain in the water body. They can germinate at a later period. So we don't know whether the contamination is because of the recent fecal contamination or it was something of the past. So we use this organism. If we detect this organism, we take it as an indicator of past pollution, past fecal pollution. So these three were the common indicator organisms. Nowadays, bacteriophages are also used to evaluate the virological quality of water, or as indicators. The logic being, bacteriophages are present only if their host bacteria are present in the water. So common bacteriophage used as indicator is somatic coliphage, which infects E. coli. So if E. coli is present in the water, this bacteriophage can also be present. So if we detect coliphage, that means E. coli is present. E. coli is present means fecal contamination is there. Other two bacteriophages which can be used are F-specific RNA bacteriophages, phages infecting Bacteroides fragilis. Bacteroides fragilis is a common member of our intestinal flora. So once again, fecal indicators are those group of organisms which indicates the presence of fecal contamination. Ideal indicators would be thermotolerant coliforms or fecal coliforms such as E. coli or fecal streptococci. Clostridium perfringens can also be used, but it serves as the indicator of past pollution. So fecal indicator if present, they confirm fecal contamination of water and that pathogens may be present. Again, recent fecal contamination ideally indicated by fecal coliforms and fecal streptococci. In general, indicators of microbial water quality help in alerting and managing waterborne microbial risks. And with that, we conclude. Thank you.